The deep draft this week is asking a question that sounds almost philosophical until you realize it has a very specific answer in tons of crude oil. When does a controlled system stop being controlled?
DeepDraft Desk covers that across two interlocking territories this episode: the Hormuz standstill and what it means for voyage decision-making, and the particular mechanics of VLCC ship-to-ship transfer once both vessels are alongside. Let's start with the brief itself and the week that built it.
The frame here is margin. Not profit margin, but operating margin. The week's events aren't a single crisis. There's several maritime systems losing headroom at the same time. And the question is whether the people running voyages can keep up.
The weekly brief puts it directly. The week's operating signal is not one event. It is the loss of margin across several maritime systems at once. Tanker attacks near the Strait of Hormuz, war risk hesitation, AIS dark movement, trapped crews, selective Red Sea route restoration, and a Don Azov shipping halt affecting Kerch-linked cargo flow.
So the upshot is that routing decisions stopped being about distance and weather. Masters, operators, insurers, charterers, all of them are now judging whether a voyage or passage is still a controlled system. And that judgment is moving faster than standard operating assumptions.
The timeline in the brief shows how quickly that compression happened. July 8, 3 tanker attacks near Hormuz pushed JMIC to raise the threat level to severe. By July 9, 4 tankers have turned back, and war risk underwriters are advising owners to delay or suspend transits. By July 10, near standstill conditions, with only 2 tankers reported through the strait and vessels going AIS dark during passage.
And then the IMO flags that around 6,000 seafarers are stranded in the Persian Gulf, which reframes the whole picture. This isn't just a routing disruption anymore.
The brief also covers the Don Azov halt, which ran separately. Russia suspended channel shipping after attacks on 13 vessels in the Sea of Azov, pulling Kerch Strait passage requests and introducing exposure across grain stems, tanker routing, and Black Sea documentation.
Meanwhile, Maersk and Hapag-Lloyd began restoring the AE-15 service through Suez, which sounds like good news until the brief is careful to say it's a controlled restoration, not a general Red Sea normalization signal.
The brief's closing warning is worth naming plainly. Cheaper freight, restored service strings, or vessels reported all fast are not evidence that operational risk has normalized. The risk this week is decision compression, and it is expected to carry into next week.
Which is exactly where the VLCC analysis lands, because all fast is precisely the moment the brief says the real risk begins.
The flagship analysis this week, similar size VLCC STS, the risk after all fast, takes that idea and reconstructs it from an actual incident sequence: deteriorating weather, differential vessel response, parted moorings, bow opening, hose failure, all following in order.
The detail that stays with you is that the visible failure started before the hose parted. It started when the 2 ships stopped responding as one system.
Draft, windage, anchor cable restraint, freeboard change, breastline geometry, uneven mooring tension. The analysis shows all of these becoming part of the same load path. The command lesson is stated plainly. Similar size VLCC STS must be read as a live control system, not as a static mooring arrangement.
A tight line that is no longer sharing load correctly still looks like a tight line. That is a genuinely uncomfortable thought.
And it applies to the broader week, too. The brief's strategic summary makes the same point about Hormuz, the Red Sea, and Kerch. The risk appears while the operation still looks controlled on paper. The thread across everything this week is the same. The moment a system appears stable is not the moment the risk has passed.
Next week, watch whether Hormuz transit permissions firm up or compress further, because that answer shapes everything downstream. We'll be back with more from the Deep Draft.